So you want to start creating videos, but you don't know all the equipment that you need. If you were to ask anyone out in the street, most likely they'll just say you need a camera, maybe a microphone, and a computer. Although that's a really good start, that doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, if you want the full picture of what you're going to need to start creating videos, you need to actually break it down into the 3 steps: pre-production, production, and of course, post-production. So I want to go over the bare essential equipment you need to get started creating videos just like this one online. So let's get to it. Well, let's begin with pre-production. Every video starts with an idea. There's gonna have to be some sort of story or concept or even topic you're gonna talk about in the video. So the first thing you really have to think about is how you're gonna capture and store these ideas. This really could be as simple as keeping a notebook with all of your ideas, or you can do what I do, which is I like using the Notes app on my iPhone and just recording the ideas there, and then I eventually transfer those onto a Google Doc so I can actually elaborate them into a full-on script. No matter the method you choose, try to keep it organized. So I have a page for ideas, then I have a page for actually writing the script, and then I have a page for the shot list that I need for that video. The more time you spend in pre-production, the less time you're gonna have on set and of course in post-production, as you will see later on. Now let's move on to the production step of video production. This is what most people think of as video producing, which is setting up the lights, setting up your camera, setting up the audio, and of course actually shooting the content. But what do you really need to actually shoot something? Well, there's actually 3 things. You need something to capture the video, you need something to capture the audio, and you need some sort of light to actually light the scene. So for capturing video, that's gonna be your camera, which can be something as simple as your phone, or you can get a DSLR like I have, or a mirrorless camera such as a Canon R5 or R6. But what I would say is more important than the camera is actually the lighting and the sound. Let's hit lighting first. No matter what camera you have, whether it be an iPhone, a GoPro, or even a $6,000 cinema camera, it's not gonna mean anything if you don't have light in your scene. If you've ever shot something in low light conditions, you know how bad the footage can look. So it doesn't matter if you paid $8,000 for that camera, if you don't have a light in the scene, it's not gonna come out good. So I highly recommend just focusing more on light. This could be as simple as daylight coming through a window, using a simple stand light like I have here, or even just doing what most people are doing these days, which is actually shooting on a ring light. All a camera is a light detecting machine. So make sure you're properly lit and it won't really matter what camera you decide to shoot on. Now let's move on to the third thing, which is also probably the most important thing, is sound. Instead of worrying about getting an $8,000 camera, worry about just getting a really high quality microphone. People can forgive bad visuals, but it's a lot harder to convince them to forgive bad audio. You've definitely had this experience where you click on a video and it sounds like it's a webcam audio and it's very mushy. It's so distracting and detracts from the message in the video. So you want to pay close attention to capturing clean audio, and that's something for another video, but just make sure you invest in a quality microphone and try not to peak it. Something that I found is even useful is actually using your iPhone. You can just go into the voice memo app and you can just hold it out of frame or in frame like this, and you'd be surprised with the quality of the sound you get out of it. So something to note. All right, finally, we're in post-production. Simply, you need some sort of computer and editing software to actually compile the video together. Some popular editing softwares include Adobe Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, which is free, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, and Windows Movie Maker. It honestly doesn't matter what program you choose, even if it's a free one, you just really have to learn the program in and out. It's pretty straightforward, the editing process. A quick overview is you're gonna import footage, organize that footage, assemble a timeline, add graphics, and then export. So you're really just gonna wanna learn all the shortcuts that the program has, so that process doesn't take you forever. And the great thing is you can even just use your smartphone. I've used smartphones to actually film for clients in the past before, to capture the videos, capture the audio, and even to edit on my phone directly. That's the most wonderful thing about the time we live in these days, is that everything can really be done on a smartphone and most people won't really mind the quality, especially if you know what you're doing. So don't knock your smartphone, but of course, if you have a computer, it may be better and easier to edit on that. The choice is yours. So in the end, what do you really need? You need a camera, a microphone, a light, and a computer with editing software. And as I previously mentioned, a smartphone literally does all of those things, including the light. So if you do a good enough job, people really don't care. What really matters is the value and the content in your video. But there you go, that's everything you're gonna need if you're gonna start producing videos online. I would highly recommend, if you're starting out, just to keep it as simple as possible. I think the most important part is actually pre-production, because if you have your shot list, you have your script, it's a lot easier on the day of shooting to just hammer through all your points, get the shots that you need, and of course, make sure that the video doesn't just ramble on forever. And of course, as you start creating more videos, you may want to invest in better equipment, and that'll give you much better production value. But at the end of the day, just get started, and these are the basic tools that you need to do that. So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you have any questions or thoughts, please leave them down below. I like reading them. If you want to get a jump start on how I like to edit, I have a beginner's guide on Adobe Premiere Pro on my editing workflow that you can watch here. Hit that like button and subscribe for more filmmaking content just like this. And until next time, ciao.